Getting a bank account opened for one's business has caused a lot of headaches for many business owners already. But is a business account necessary at all? And are there any consequences if you don't have one?
Welcome to the Business Lessons in Denmark podcast. Our podcast gives the answers to your business-related questions that have not been answered yet or things that haven't even crossed your mind. My name is Adina Bohos and I am here with my colleague Katalin Balog. We are owners of Cool Accounts APS, a Danish accounting office. Hi Kati, last time we took the first steps to meet the digital requirements with our company. And we already mentioned that there is another very important step in this direction, namely the business account.
Yeah, but before we dive into the details, let me start by saying that if I had to rank the things that cause the most problems, headaches, and complications in the lives of business owners, then the business account would finish in top 3, without doubt.
Then let's give a trophy for the business account. And why is it such a big problem for business owners?
Well, there are several reasons. The first reason is lack of data and misunderstandings on the part of business owners. The second reason is the Danish banking system, the expectations of the banks. Though the banks say that the current situation is due to the legislation, in other words, the requirements set for the banks, which come from the money laundering law. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm afraid that we won't be able to influence the Danish banking system and the legislation with our little podcast, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
But then let's help clear things up at least. So let's start at the beginning. Our starting point was that our company must also operate digitally. How is the business account related to this?
It is a legal requirement that every legal entity with a CVR number must have a Nemkonto. Nemkonto is a Danish word which probably needs a little explanation. The word Nem means easy in Danish and konto means account. The term Nemkonto literally means easy account.
Easy account, but why is it easy?
Because it is easy for the state, insurance companies, and other actors to handle it. These economic actors do not keep records of your company's bank account details. That is, which bank you have the account with, what is your bank account number, and so on. But if you have such a Nemkonto, it is simply linked to your CVR number. And if the state or municipality wants to send money to your company, then they transfer the money to your CVR number, so to speak, if I want to simplify it a little bit, not to your bank account. And since your Nemkonto is linked to your CVR number, the money lands there.
Okay, then I understand why this account is easy. If you move to another bank and you get a new business account, you don't have to change it one by one at all organizations, but only you have the new bank account assigned to Nemkonto. And the
As
new
a
account
Nemkonto, yeah,
as a
exactly.
Nemkonto,
Yeah,
and the new account will work.
yeah,
So I think this is a very smart solution.
yeah, exactly. However, the consequence of this Nemkonto system is that the state and other authorities, they only transfer to a Nemkonto. In other words, if your company should get a VAT refund, if you want to receive state support, if you would like to claim back the sick pay you have paid to your employee or part of it, if you want to employ a new employee with municipal support and so on, your company can only receive the money if it has a nemkonto. If there is no nemkonto, then the money is transferred, but you will never get it. For example, a few years ago, during the corona epidemic, it was possible to apply for state support, which was called corona compensation. But if a company did not have a nemkonto, it couldn't receive the money, even if it was eligible.
Okay, this nemkonto seems quite simple and logical. So what is causing the problem?
The fact that not all business owners know that their company must have a nemkonto and do not take care of it. Then when they don't get the money that the tax office or some other actor transfers to them, then there is a problem. I can't even tell you how many business owners have contacted me with a problem that they should have received a larger amount and they don't understand why it hasn't arrived. There were also cases when some company got into a tax debt and they didn't understand why, as they always paid everything. Yes, they transferred the VAT to the tax office just too early. Due to the too early transfer, the tax office's system could not identify what the money was received for, so it sent the money back. But because the company didn't have an nemkonto, the money never actually arrived. But it got parked on a temporary account somewhere in the universe where the company couldn't access it.
Oh my God. And what happened to VAT?
Well, the tax office took it as it was not paid. If the company had an nemkonto, there would still have been a bit of a confusion with all this transfer back and forth, but then at least the company would have received the return money and could transfer again at the right time. But without the nemkonto, it was not only a mess, but the money has apparently also disappeared. Plus, the company got a tax debt.
Wow. Now I fully understand why nemkonto is so important.
Yes. The truth is that I could tell you more specific incidents that actually happened, but then we will be sitting here all day, and so let's just leave it at that.
I wouldn't mind sitting here and listening to the real stories, but okay, let's protect the listeners from that. But how would I have nemkonto? Isn't that just asking my bank to designate my bank account as nemkonto?
Yes, it is. The only thing is that in order to have a company nemkonto, you need to open a so-called business bank account for your company.
And it can't work if I use my private account as a company nemkonto, or if I have several private accounts and I just say I use one of them as a business account.
Unfortunately, no. Banks do not usually designate a private account as a company nemkonto. And similarly, actually, they don't even allow a business to use a private account for business purposes as a business account.
Wow. Okay, but it seems logical because it's not the best to mix the private and business financial things. But why are these the viewpoints of the banks?
Well, this is where the legislation comes into play. Ever since the money laundering law was introduced, which is the law on the prevention of money laundering and the financing of terrorism, banks have had quite serious and extensive inspection and reporting obligations. They need to constantly monitor the accounts, and as soon as they notice something unusual, they must take action. If company cash flow and private cash flow are not separated, then this is very hard and almost impossible to implement.
I see. Well, I have heard about a business owner who uses a private account as a business account.
Yeah, I heard about that too, but the fact is that such business owners are playing with fire. They may have managed to stay under the radar until now, so the bank hasn't noticed that they use their private account as a business account. But if they get caught, then the bank may close down their account. And I know somebody who had that, who has had that happen to them. And yeah, I will just say that it wasn't very funny, the situation that occurred.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. When you said at the beginning that opening a business account can cause a lot of headaches for the business owners, then I think you meant that it is often not so easy to open a business account because the banks reject the request sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Despite the fact that it is actually mandatory to have a NEM-konto, and to have a NEM-konto you need a business account, is still unfortunately not always so easy for every business to get actually a business account. Banks are picky. Some people manage to get it opened without any problems, and some people just simply reject it. And then the headache starts, because then the person has to apply in another bank. And if that doesn't work, then in another bank, and so on. And unfortunately, this is the Danish reality right now.
Yes, we can say it is the first big challenge in the business owner's life. This is the first firewall they have to go through as business owners. And if they complete this, chances are good that everything will work out.
Yeah. Yes. Well, let's hope so, at least.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean it to paint it all black, since most business owners manage to get a business account, often without any problems. But some actually have to go through a lot of trouble with it. It is certain that if the person is not well known by the bank, or does not create a reassuring enough impression, because maybe they can't satisfactorily answer the bank's possible questions, then it is relatively difficult to get a company bank account, a business account. And if the person has unpaid debts, if he or she maybe is registered as a bad debtor, or God forbid, if they have some tax debts, then it is almost impossible to get a business account.
In my opinion, people who handle their personal finances well, who have some savings in the account, who don't spend all their money every month and so on, have no problem with opening a business account.
Yeah, there is a lot of truth in what you say. But when the bank rejects an application, they usually don't give a specific reason why. We know it from experience that certain things are advantages, as you say, and what are the things that are usually disqualifying somebody. In any case, it is important that as a business owner you are disciplined about your personal finances also, and that you manage your tax affairs well.
It's good you mentioned tax affairs because it is exactly what we will talk about next time. With other words, we are going to dive into the Danish tax system in our next podcast episode. Thanks, Kati, for today's information, and see you next Monday. Today's episode was sponsored by Kulakon CPS. Kulakon CPS can help with starting your company, with bookkeeping and tax matters. In addition, we also provide business and financial consulting. If you liked the show, then follow us and like our Facebook page. If you would like to contact us, you can do so via our webpage www.accounts.cool. We wish you a successful week.